Hello, hello, beautiful ones. How are you? Welcome. How is your heart today? How are you? Can you hear me okay? How is it going? I see some familiar faces in the crowd. Thank you for coming back. Hi, James. Hi, Christine. How are you, beautiful people? So happy to be here. The sun has came through a cloudy sky for this beautiful full moon day weekend we're gonna have, and I am so happy that we can see the moon, because I can feel the moon even if it's cloudy, but when I can see it, oh, what a splendor. Hi Lynn, how are you? Good to see you, honey. I missed you. Big hugs to you. Yeah, it's been a while. Sunny in North Dakota. I love it. Hi, Lisa. Have you been here before? I think I remember your face. Isn't it, Christine? Yes, 100%. And we can align ourselves with that splendor that we see in the evening, especially in all the stars, even the ones we cannot see, and know that there's so much more, even if we can't see it. And we're gonna work with that today. We're gonna work with expansion inside ourselves to see it reflected outside of ourselves. Who was here last session? Who was here last weekend? Do you remember what we did and how we work with flow? And if you were here, were you able to practice? I'm always interested in knowing, how can you take this into life? How does it change a situation that could have been tense or unproductive or a little bit less enjoyable into something a little more pleasurable, more life-giving, like one of my spiritual teachers likes to say, giving us life and not draining us of life. Angela, oh my God. Hi, honey. So good to see you. Yay. I saw you register for last weekend and I didn't see you in the chat, so I wasn't sure you could make it. I'm so happy you're here. You're going to love this session. We're bringing in more and more Feldenkrais each weekend. And today we're going to read directly from his book, different collection of books. And you're going to love this compilation of quotes I have for us today. And we're going to take them through the body like we usually do. Great, so Lynn was here, Christine was here. Did you notice at least one time in your week that you could apply it? Because remember, you're gonna hear a lot of people say a lot of things. But if you don't find a way to get them in your body so then you can use them, they're gonna come through this ear and go out the other one before too long. It's inevitable. We have limited memory, and our memory is luckily for us, is selective. We will remember, besides all the negative things we don't want to remember, but we remember anyway, from all the positive information out there, we're most likely to remember something that we understand and that we can make ours and apply. Even if you shifted from the way you learned it, even if you had to adapt it, the moment you make it yours and use it again and again, why do you remember? Because it's useful, because it's now brain wired, right? It's in the plasticity of your brain to make new connections. And then you don't have to remember, look out the quote, the reference, play that recording again. You know it, you made it yours. Oh, Christine, that's wonderful though, that you applied it to yourself. Okay. Yeah, that's how it all begins, with yourself. And once you make it easy on yourself, it's much easier to use it in relation to others or the environment. For those of you that are new, that never been here before, I want to tell you welcome. I am Diana. I am a mother of two. I live in Pennsylvania right now, though I'm originally from South America. And the passion that guides my life is to share with others, to teach, to empower, to perhaps put in front of people the tools, the skills, the frameworks, perspectives, technologies, inner and outer technologies that can make our lives more loving and enjoyable. So that goes a wide range. Feldenkrais is my trained profession, along with fitness training and meditation, most recently massage, but not necessarily unique to me is that I found Feldenkrais to be key that opens a big door for human potential. You will see that in every Feldenkrais flavor that is out there. One of my teachers has combined it with Buddhist meditation. Some people have very good applications of it for fitness. Some people have maybe made music performance a lot easier because of being based on a Feldenkrais perspective. For me, and this is kind of funny because I knew this already on my second year of training back in the year 2007, my interest is self-realization. My main goal is to liberate ourselves from the chains of our conditioning, to become freer, to become more expanded, to become this unlimited superhuman being that I know that we are. So Feldenkrais for me is that key that opens the awareness door. Feldenkrais was really keen on saying if you want to do something, you first want to know what is it you're doing. Yeah, in order to do what you want, you need to know what you're doing now. And that's what awareness really is in a nutshell, is opening your eyes and daring to see. And I say daring because sometimes what we see is not what we expected seeing. And yet it's giving us the most information, it's placing us right now in the present moment. Not in the past, not in the guilt or the shame or the regret or even the rejoicing in something that passed, or in the future projection, which could be worrisome or could be exciting or filled with anticipation, but it's still forward, it's in front of us. Awareness means connecting to the here and now. And we can use that in everywhere we want, everywhere and anyway. So today we're going to use it to find more expansion, to find more connection. With what? With awareness itself. So we're going to become aware of awareness, to be able to expand that. It's almost to realize, oh, I live in a human body, and even though sometimes I feel limited by it, it's a miraculous life force example, right? It gets up every morning and it does all these things for me, and I can tap into more and more of that and keep it healthy and vital, first by simply acknowledging how miraculous it is, right? So awareness is kind of like that. The more you notice it, the more of it you get. Then we're going to use it also to tap into awakening. Awakening of what? Awakening of the greater expanse of potential that is out there for us. And maybe for you means something different than for me. For me, awakening right now means awakening to my capacity to empower as many people as I can. To really present myself fully and make myself visible with everything I have to share. And not hide or hold anything back. It's awakening to my personal power, maybe. For you, perhaps awakening is spiritual awakening, or consciousness awakening, or intimacy awakening, or parenting awakening, right? It's something that wakes up to the next stage of its evolution. I recently heard an old proverb that said, It said, for the caterpillar is the end of the world. For the butterfly, it's just the beginning, right? So depending on where you're standing, that awakening is a rebirth. It's a new stage. It's a new expansion. Yeah, creating more of what is already there. And rarely I will find here in this community people that are completely unaware and you could say asleep, if that's the opposite of awake. I don't think it's in this community, but there's always another possibility for unblocking and expanding. And that is part of what we do with this work. Lastly, I also want to allow us to apply this to abundance. And abundance is, again, physical, material, financial abundance, and it's also abundance of connection, presence, intimacy being that closeness, that ability to be part of, to be one, to unite. You can have even with yourself, or with anything and everyone. It's not just sexual intimacy. When I say intimacy, what I mean is that closeness, that moment of connection, of interbeing, is what Thich Nhat Hanh called that, interbeing. We are interdependent, and in intimacy we get to experience that, how close we are to each other's humanity. And then as we put these things together, you're going to see that a new body image emerges. We're going to work from that perspective today. Last session and the one before, and you can find those on my website, you will see that we were working with principles. We were taking 2-3 principles. Today we're going to work with one big concept, which you could say is a principle, but it's more of it, more like an idea, Feldenkrais idea. And we're going to use some quotes and words direct from Feldenkrais to work with that idea. And you're going to see that idea, which is the idea of the self-image, guides our every moment, guides our every action, thought, behavior. He stated this in the first book he published for the US and the world, actually, to explain the work. But it's not, these days, it's not such a new idea, right? We all hear this, be authentic, be your whole self, or overcome your fear, right? What are they talking about? They're talking about, yes, I have an image of me that is presenting itself to the world, and it can be expanding or limiting. When they say be authentic, well, what is the opposite? Is being inauthentic, or not showing everything, or not even looking within deep enough to see what is everything, who am I fully, right? So that is the image of yourself. And the same thing, if you want more practical application, could be said of you placing yourself in relation to an activity. And you say, well, I'm not good at that, or I don't do that, or I don't know how, right? That's the image that you have of yourself. And you can agree with me or disagree. I love disagreement and expansion and learning together, expanding my own mindset. When you're able to alter, to shift, to even question that image, the possibilities change. Even before you said, oh, I'm now good at this thing I didn't think I was good at, even if you question yourself, what would it feel like to be good at this? It's beginning to really tap in the back of your brain, asking, inquiring the image if it's still true, or perhaps it's an old image of yourself. But the foundation is that the image that you have, the self-perception, the self-identity, your body image, especially, rules your every interaction in the world, and even your thoughts, conditions what you're able to do, to say, how do you think about things. And this image is influenced by education. We don't come with a set in stone image or identity. We form this in relation to where we grow up, who we listen to when we grow up, the things we see, the experiences we have, our teachers, our peers, the things we read. And as you go on and on, all the levels of interaction you have with knowledge, be it from education and books and certifications or diplomas or careers or jobs, and people, they begin to define who you think yourself to be. And Feldenkrais was big on one thing when it comes to this self-image. He said it's hereditary. We inherited some of it. We say yes to some other, the one that comes through programming and our choices. As we say, yes, I'm going to believe this, and I'm going to move according to that knowledge. say in school, right? You can defy your teachers, or you can just accept and integrate and condition yourself that way. But also, he was big on that we can unlearn a lot of it, let go, decide that doesn't serve me anymore, and we can learn through self-education and continue to grow our image, which is infinite. So that's the place where we are meeting right now. This is our 0 point right now. It's like we have done a good amount of unlearning, probably you and me, and we are ready to take in new information. We are ready to expand our image. First, by knowing that we can. That's the 0 concept, right? Is the before 1 is like, yes, I can learn new things. Yes, I can let go of old knowledge that doesn't serve me, even if I saw that growing up and it was the norm for everybody, say, in my town. For me, for example, I grew in a very small country. I grew up in a tiny country with very few examples of the things that I'm doing today, even. So I had to create a lot of, let's say, models or examples of what I'm doing today on my own. I had to find my mentors, find my expanders, find my role models, because very few people that I know, even up to my 20s, and I moved here, were doing anything like what I'm doing now. So if I only stay with that, it would have been impossible for my self-image to embody what I'm doing today. Good morning, Mary. Good to see you, hon. You come in right at where I'm delivering some of the presentation or the talk or the lecture or the share, however you want to call it, and we're going to move into some Feldenkrais moves very soon. So looking at this self-image, there's one thing that if you think ourselves in movement, ourselves acting, moving, thinking, feeling, sensing, right? That's movement. When we say movement, it's not just physical movement. It's the movement of your emotions, the movement of your thoughts, the movement of your feelings, the movement of your intentions or visions. That's what movement means to me, is the movement of your whole self. We carry, as we move in the world, we carry this baggage, right? We carry this conditioning of how we are used to based on what we know and what we think is possible. And Feldenkrais had a very key concept that we're going to explore today, to look at this movement and see how is it allowing expansion, awakening, abundance, awareness, or limiting it. And the concept he honed was that of parasitic effort. Parasitic effort. And he talked a lot about this. And I don't hear this enough in the community that I work with, and the people that are, body experts or spiritual leaders, which is my intersection, right? What does it mean, parasitic effort? Well, let's break it down, right? Effort itself is something that we cannot let go of. Effort means to work, right? To do. But yet we can exert a lot of effort, or we can exert less effort, depending on what are we doing, right? So think of yourself, say, driving a car, and you're holding onto the wheel. That is not the same effort you need holding that wheel than, say, if you're chopping wood or if you're stirring a pot of soup, right? The effort, let's say, in your hand, arm, whole body is different according to what are you doing. And this is funny. Sometimes we don't adjust our effort accordingly to the task at hand. Sometimes we come with a preset notion of how much effort we're going to need. And we just go with that instead of calibrating the effort according to the task at hand. Example, let's say you want to find more, let's say, awakening, and we're talking about spiritual awakening, or awakening to your sacred sexuality or awakening to your loving parenting, even though you had traumatic experiences in the past and you're unlearned and healed some of that, and now you're ready for that awakening, right? For that expansion. You may say, now I'm gonna work at this, and I'm gonna work hard, and I'm gonna do all the courses, and I'm gonna take all the lessons, and I'm gonna do all the meditations, and I'm gonna work at it until I get it. Sounds familiar? It's very human. It's almost as if we are set to do it that way, to work hard, to prove our effort to our own selves, right? We are rewarded for that. So it's hard to say, oh no, I'm just gonna, do less or take it easy, not work so hard. That in our culture, in many cultures, is considered lazy, unproductive. You're not gonna get anywhere, right? So we come with this notion of effort. We have to strive to excel or to put our best or to do as much as we can to work hard, yeah? And some of that is true, but here comes the other word. Remember, this is a 2-word concept, parasitic effort. So what is parasitic? Think of a parasite. Parasite feeds on something else, right? A parasite is a leech, is a flea, is a tick. Parasites live in our body, right? They feed on the host. They're not really able to produce their own life force. So parasitic effort is that which we bring, probably from the conditioning I was talking about earlier, the things we saw, the people we heard, the teachers we had, the examples we believe to be true, that we must do that or else it won't work. And it's funny because parasitic effort, we're going to work with it in the body today and identify it in the body and release it and find more expansion, more free energy as a consequence. But sometimes the parasitic effort is in the mind. It's all that overthinking, all that second guessing, all that analyzing, right? It could be actually even more intangible. It could be a superstition. Parasitic effort for you may be, oh, I need to cross myself 4 times before I do that. I need to put the cup there or else. I used to have some superstitions growing up. If the salt fell on the table, you had to shake it over your left shoulder. If you think about it, it's absolutely crazy and wasteful. Because not only you spilled the salt, which used to be very valuable in the old times, now you're spilling some more. It's completely ridiculous. It makes no sense. But if I didn't shake the salt, there was something hanging over me. So now look at yourself. Just pause for a moment from listening to me and listen within to observing your self-image in relation. We're going to begin to apply this right now. So no more concepts. I'm going to just read a couple quotes in a minute. But no more mind thinking, more like let's integrate now down to the heart, feel this out, and then we're going to move it in the body. Think about your self-image in relation to awareness. Perhaps you're fully aware, you want even more global awareness or universal awareness or planetary awareness. Yes, there's always, it keeps getting better and better. Look at your self-image in relationship to awakening of something that you want to sprout in your life. Like the spring is now bringing all these baby sprouts. Something that you want to reignite. Maybe it was a little dormant for a while and you're ready for that awakening. And picture yourself in your self-image in relationship to abundance. Are you certain of the abundance that surrounds you? And for you, maybe financial abundance, maybe abundance of love and connection, maybe abundance of purposeful work or meaningful work, of meaningful or intentional relationships, or abundance of peace of mind, right? Abundance is not only money. Money is energy. Money is one example of it. It's the first one that comes to mind sometimes when you hear abundance, but what kind of abundance do you want more of? And what is your self-image in relation to that? And you're going to find, let's say, a gradient of, I feel fully empowered with this. My self-image is as big as can be, but most likely it will be somewhere in between. And for some of you, maybe kind of small. So no judgment, just see where you are in this spectrum. Maybe your self-image in relation to awareness is huge, and you close your eyes and you can connect to everything and you feel this oneness, this spiritual unity. And maybe your abundance is limited by what you see around you right now that is not fully showing you what you want to see. And there might be other reasons for that. That would be one-on-one work we could do. But for now, just see your self-image in relation to that. Do you feel maxed out? Do you feel like you don't know how, that you've reached that point, but you don't know how to access more? How to let go of some limiting aspects of your self-image. And please do this with a lot of kindness. It's very gentle work. We have to go very slow with this. Because what you don't want is to say, bad boy, bad girl, look at you. You don't think you can do this, or your self-image is that of 10 years ago when you started this job and you kept it, and now you don't think you can change anything and you're stuck. Poor you. That's not what we want. We want to observe the self-image and say, and actually with a lot of humor. We're going to explore humor really soon. You can look at yourself sitting small in front of that opportunity and say, look at how I'm looking at this situation. Oh my God. Wow. I didn't know any better. Okay, so that's the attitude. When you see yourself doing something, in this personal story, side note, I used to feel, and maybe I feel like this sometimes still, I used to feel that I could do anything. Like sometimes now I feel like, okay, that's gonna require teamwork. Like I cannot do that on my own, right? But I used to feel entitled to superhuman power on my very own. I was a little younger and I hadn't discovered the power of teamwork. And once somebody pointed at that to me, and my reaction was of like, oh no. Something shrunk inside of me when he said, well, like, who do you think you are, right? And in that moment, he taught me that I could receive the same information and laugh at it. Really laugh at it. Wow, I thought I could do that on my own. Oh my God, this is gonna take a village, right? And it's the same. I'm getting the same feedback in that case from a therapist, right? Could be a friend, could be life giving you a lesson. You're getting the same feedback. You're getting the same information, wisdom, lesson. But instead of internalizing it, like, oh gosh, wow, that sucks. Like I now know that about myself. This is awful, shameful. Right? You laugh it off and immediately drops. Try it. Try it with anything you hear here that you go, oh wow, I didn't know that I was so contracted. Oh, I didn't know I was carrying on that baggage from my parents. Oh, I didn't know that I couldn't do that. I thought I couldn't do that and I can. Right? And instead of beating yourself up for it or feeling shameful for even a minute, brush it off and laugh it off and see if it doesn't change your experience. It's much easier to release something when you can laugh it off. Even at the beginning, if you don't believe it, just do it. If you don't believe that it's easy to laugh it off, just try it and see. Next time somebody gives you comment of something that you don't expect and they said, oh, I didn't like that. Well, that's all I could do in the moment. So thank you for the feedback. And move on. Yeah. So as you collect more information through the lesson today, see if you can laugh at it playfully. It's not the end of the world, I promise you. You're gonna keep finding more things. So now that you look at the self-image in relation to awakening, awareness, abundance, let's look at effort. And again, we're doing some more now mind-heart work. We're not just analyzing, we're feeling into this. And after this, we're going to move through this But I'm going to ask you as you move to remember the feeling, to remember the thought, because we are an interconnectedness of moving, thinking, feeling, and sensing. Remember? That's foundational to Feldenkrais work. Yeah, we are always and all the time moving, feeling, sensing, and thinking and acting, right? Acting and moving at the same time. We just sometimes pay attention more to the movement or to the thought or to the feeling or to the sensation, but it's all happening at the same time. And as we can tap into that, we instantly expand. We instantly become more aware, more awake, more abundant. Okay? So we need to be doing this almost self-noticing that is way bigger than usually you do. So again, don't beat yourself up. If you can't really feel and think at the same time yet, it's okay, you'll develop that. Okay, laugh it off. For now you can only think, that's fine. All right, so looking at the self-image, how much effort do you recognize? Let's feel into this and think about some examples. How much effort are you putting into awareness? Easy to start here because awareness doesn't take much effort, does it? You cannot work hard at being aware. Either you are aware or you're not aware. Maybe some things I'm telling you right now are new information for you. You are not aware of them. Yeah, but it's not like, oh, if I work really hard at being aware, I'm going to be very aware. So if you're efforting too much, guaranteed most of that is parasitic effort. Unnecessary. So let's recognize that. Just feel it in. Maybe your parasitic effort there is that you're trying to be more aware. You wish you were more aware, but you keep making that mistake. It's okay. Just notice that. And now notice your efforts in relation to awakening. And we hear it from every spiritual teacher that you are it. You are already there. You know everything you need to know. And you can apply that to spiritual awakening, relationships awakening, moving in the world with ease awakening, whatever type of awakening you're seeking right now. Right? That law applies. But how much harder do we think we need to work to deserve that, to gain it, to have it, to get there? Right? So look at your amount of effort and look at how much of it is real, necessary effort. Perhaps it's in maintaining a practice, staying consistent, showing up like you are today, staying till the end, listening with an open mind and an open heart. Right? That's effort. That's adequate. What is the extra, the parasitic effort that you're experiencing in relation to awakening? To awakening that thing in your life that you want more of. And maybe it's desperation. Maybe it's impatience. Oh, but I want it now. That would be me. I move really fast sometimes and I want things to move along with me really fast. But slowing down is much, much needed, especially during these times. Taking deep breaths and settling in. So my parasitic effort sometimes is extra stress and impatience. Okay? Now, take a moment and observe with a kind, compassionate heart. Feel into how much effort are you placing, and this is the hardest one because we are so programmed for this. How much effort are you putting into experiencing more abundance, an abundant universe? And what does that mean to you? Because it's different for each of us what abundance really means. And how much of that effort, and here we're going to go first with the body, we're going to begin to work with the body. How much of that effort is put in contraction, in grasping, in holding on tight just in case this goes away? and wanting it to be a certain way. Attachment. And how much of that effort do you think is parasitic? Is conditioned by what you see, what you hear, what you see somebody else do, what you think you're gonna need, but not really necessary for you. So Feldenkrais says, we usually learn the hard way. We are taught that trying hard is a virtue in life. And we are misled into believing that trying hard is also a virtue when learning. Right? So even right now, as I share these concepts, you might be, but I want to get it. I really, really want to get it. I want to get 100%. I'm not sure I'm getting it, right? Trying hard at learning. He says, we are so drilled or wired in by prevailing educational methods that when we know what is required of us, we go all out to achieve it for fear of loss of faith, regardless of what it costs us to do so. We're so wired in, so drilled by our education, self-education included, right? That when we know what is required of us, we go all out to achieve it, regardless of what it costs us to do so. And here's a good clue, because unnecessary parasitic effort takes a toll in the body. So you will recognize it. It will feel as tension, chronic pain, chronic feelings or sensations that don't give you life force, don't give you vitality. They take away your sleep. They take away your peace of mind. That all that extra effort comes at a great cost. He says, internal conviction of essential inadequacy. I'm not doing enough. I'm not enough. I don't know how, right? Internal inadequacy is at the root of the urge to try as hard as one can, even when learning. So he's connecting that extra parasitic effort with feeling inadequate. And I have to compensate because I don't know enough, so I have to work extra hard. We have it instilled in our system that we must not be the worst of the lot. We must not be the worst. Some of us have it instilled in us that we have to be the best. Raise your hand if that's you. Hey, Claudia, dear. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. An aligned effort. Sure. It's more than necessary for the task at hand. This is really good. So here he's talking about how some of this parasitic effort, unnecessary effort will show up. Thank you, Lisa, for reaffirming that. That was me too. Yes. Competition with myself. Extreme competition with myself. He says, we will bite our lips, hold our breath, and screw up our straining self in any ugly way in order to achieve something if we have no clear idea of how to mobilize ourselves for the task. We will bite our lips, hold our breath, and screw up our straining self in any ugly way in order to achieve something if we have no clear idea of how to mobilize ourselves for that task. The internal resistance then becomes part and parcel of the action. Internal resistance, our inner self knows this is not the way. So we feel this resistance inside and we still push. The result is excessive effort, harmful strain, and ugly performance. The result is excessive effort, harmful strain in ugly performance. And here we have the result. It doesn't work. You don't get the outcome. You're pushing and shoving, biting your lips and clenching your teeth and straining, desperate, and you don't get it. And then, but why? I worked so hard. I did my best and I still didn't get it. Frustration, disappointment. Yeah? Sounds familiar? And then he gives us a clue. He says, at the higher level of effort, one cannot detect small differences. Therefore, it is impossible to improve beyond a certain stage. And this is what we're going to work with for the next 20 minutes, with this exact quote. And by the way, I'm reading for you from my colleague's book, Feldenkrais Illustrated, from my colleague Tiffany Sankary. And this is a beautiful book. She made all these illustrations of Feldenkrais concepts. Very easy to grasp because he can be very complex in his writing. So we're going to work especially with this one today. At the higher level of effort, one cannot detect small differences, and therefore it's impossible to improve beyond a certain stage. Now, side note, Feldenkrais, who worked in the 40s, he started his work in the early 40s, was very, very, very keen of Emile Coué. And if you don't know Emile Coué, you can look him up. I'm going to write down both names here. Feldenkrais. Oh, that is Tiffany Sankary. Big shout out to Tiffany. It's called Feldenkrais Illustrated. So Feldenkrais, and then Coué, Emile Coué. He was very, very famous in the 20s, and Feldenkrais loved his work. He was a celebrity of that time, and all he did was teach people how to self-suggest, how to auto-suggest. Not like hypnosis, but close. And he had a very famous quote, which is the following: every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. So that's really connected to Feldenkrais. This idea, we worked with it last week. Improvement is endless. There's no limit to improvement. There's no limit to how refined our self-image can be, to how much awakening, awareness, abundance we can tap into. There's no limit to how much we can reduce the effort to find the right amount of effort for the task at hand, removing all unnecessary, parasitic, unaligned, desperate effort that is not helping and not giving us the results that we want. Okay, so every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better and better. Now, if you were very active in the chat, which is not this community, for some reason people here don't chat too much, but if you were active in the chat, I would ask you, give me a 1 if you truly believe this, or say, yes, I believe in this. But if you don't want to chat, that's fine. Just think to yourself, do you really believe that? At the core, is it part of your self-image that every day, in every way, you're getting better and better at awareness, awakening, and abundance? Because that's a theme for today. We could apply it to anything. Yes, thank you for participating. If you don't have that, let's work at where did you hear the opposite? How do you believe the opposite to be true? If you feel stuck, if you feel like, I've reached my plateau and there's nothing else I can, or there's a limit to how much I can achieve, right? Yeah, it's growth mindset, but it's also knowing that you are an infinite fountain of potential. You've heard this before. 95% of our activity is based on unconscious beliefs. 10, 15, 20 maybe, I'm being outrageous here, of our brain potential is tapped. Most of it is untapped. We don't even know what's going on in the brain. We have explored less of our brains than we have of, let's say, space. to give you a sense, right? So perfect. Number one, everywhere. I love that. So every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better and better. And we bring that attitude to any change, any expansion we want to bring into our self-image. And then the other one is easy. Reducing the effort is aligned with easy, is aligned with doing a little bit less than maximum. And this is based on a physics law. The physics law states that when you reduce the effort, your sensitivity increases. So let's do it right now. Make a fist. So intense effort, right? Make a fist. And then try with this fist, we did this last week, I think. Try with this fist to touch your face or grab something or scratch or feel the back of your neck. But keep the effort. Keep the intensity of the tone on your hand. Yeah, this would be like you're carrying a piano and a fly lands on the piano and you won't even notice it, right? There's so much effort that your brain is busy with all that effort. It's all inhibited by holding on so hard. Now, relax your effort. Like, just do enough to hold your hand up and now touch, scratch, feel the back of your neck. Close your eyes, which also consume a lot of effort. Close your eyes and keep doing the same thing. And you probably notice even more. And now let's refine that even further. Like, keep the hand on your head and now press, right? Press hard, which is a lot of effort, even if it's not a fist. Press hard and see what you can feel. And maybe your breath, like my breath, just So breathe, that's parasitic effort. And now reduce the pressure and see if you feel more or less. And now reduce the pressure so much that it's just the tip of your fingers, just the layer of skin. And now find an intermediate amount of pressure where if you reduce the effort so much that your hand disappears from the touch, you won't feel much. But if you find the right amount, you're gonna feel so much. And now keep that contact and hold your face. And explore with your own touch, pushing a lot of effort and reducing the effort. And where can you sense more? Right? So if you were the person that grabs and grasps and this is your image and you won't adjust the amount of effort and refine that, you won't be able to sense and feel more past that point. Your capacity will be limited. So let's take that into the whole body now, shall we? You can accomplish a lot more through less effort, 100%, especially at the point where we begin to work with energy and not just matter. Because physical body is matter, but matter and energy are the same thing. Right? So once we begin to tap into less matter, more energy, less effort is way, way more productive. So now, let's work with your physical body. So find a place where you can sit and you can close your eyes. And I'm not going to demonstrate much because you have to get the sense yourself. And we're going to use the body as a template and then apply this to the other areas we talked about during the lesson, okay? During the session. So now feel yourself sitting on the chair. If you can keep your spine upright, that's much better. And now bring your awareness to the soles of your feet and notice the contact with the floor. Notice if your toes feel long or short. If you feel like grabbing. So let's begin to identify effort, right? And how useful it is. So now let's say you want to push a little bit off the floor to move your body a little bit, like a rocking motion. We did this before. Rocking a little bit, pushing off and on the floor, rocking a little bit. And now play with how easy or efficient this movement is when your toes are long, when your toes are free, or if you're grabbing. Just contract your toes and grab, as if you're grabbing the floor. And try to push with grabbed, tight toes. Notice that the moment you grab with your toes or shrink or contract your toes, your quadriceps contract, your thighs, and there's something happening in your lower back, and the whole lower body becomes engaged. Yes, it's as if you're holding on because I'm gonna fall. So if you want to just push off the floor, increase the pressure so your body moves. Is it easier when you're grabbing or when you're not? What do you think? Just feel that out. And now keep one foot free. Just gonna call this free, long toes, not grabbing, not grasping. And the other one contracted, and now keep pushing with both feet. Pushing means you're pressing against the floor, you're looking for some leverage so your body moves. It kind of lengthens a little bit, rocks a little bit. Yeah, force coming down, force going up, it's moving through your skeleton. Which foot is more efficient? See, the foot that is grabbing only has your heel available. Everything else is taking over by this effort. So there's no freedom there for anything else. No free energy. So all the energy is used in contraction. So the actual food that is free is much more efficient, isn't it? It's available. All right, so let the legs go, breathe, take a moment, reset. We're gonna look for another example. We're gonna look for maybe 3 or 4 examples. So now come back to long spine, sitting free, feet apart, head at the top of the spine. And now we're going to look for a circular movement. We've done this before, like a clock or a circle with the pelvis. And for this you have to push with one foot and then push with the other and then push with both. So don't only tilt the pelvis. If you can, use your feet. The more you use your feet, the more your legs participate. Your whole skeleton becomes engaged in this. And of course, taking the lesson from the previous moment, don't grab with your toes. Keep your toes relaxed. Reduce the effort on your toes. And go about the circle as big as you feel comfortable. You can make a huge circle. You can make a small circle. Just feel the sensation of ease or whatever's present. If you don't know how to do it, laugh it off. We're going to learn together. And now as you keep doing that, close your eyes so you're looking within and not at me. And now clench your teeth. Just make some efforts with your jaw, with your teeth. As if you're chewing something, hold your teeth tight. And by the way, we do this a lot. We don't notice it, but we do it a ton. So clench your teeth and keep doing the circles and see if the sensation changes and your experience of the movement and the quality of the movement changes or not. And change direction. And now unclench your teeth, liberate your jaw, separate the upper from the lower jaw, push your jaw down a little bit, even with your tongue if you can. And if this is not easy for you, use your hands to drop your jaw, and with a free jaw, keep moving in circles, using your feet as much as you can to push through your skeleton, and notice the difference. And now we're going to make it even more black and white. Keep doing the circles, just make it a lot smaller, and slow it down. So small and slow. Because as we reduce the input, we're going to sense a lot more. That's the law. And now as you go about this small and slow circle, clench your teeth again and hold your breath. Simple. Hold your breath, clench your teeth, and see if you can feel a difference in this circle and your sensation of it, and how much effort you're using to think about holding on to all these things instead of just freely moving. And now go ahead and clench your teeth and hold your breath. Breathe, of course. Before you hold the breath again, release everything, release everything. Some of you will take me so literal. Will hold the breath because you're trying so hard at getting what I'm doing and trying to get it right. And we all do it, it's so human, but release, relax, come back to neutral. Free your mind for a minute, blank page. And now we're going to explore this tripled effort, parasitic, unnecessary effort. So now come back to the circle, do the circle at the size that you like, whatever size is the easiest for you, but go slow as you can. Not super slow, but slow enough that you can feel that it's a circle and not a square or a triangle. And now clench your teeth, hold your breath, curl your toes. Grab, grasp, clench, tighten. And wonder for yourself, like, I wonder how does it feel? I know for a fact it's going to be less efficient, but how does it feel to you? And then little by little release the effort somewhere in your toes maybe, so you can push more freely, and in your belly so you can breathe, and your pelvis is freer, and in your jaw, and now everything is soft. And as you remember how easy this can be when all the extra effort is gone, just kindly think to yourself, you can stop moving if you want to, just think to yourself, how much of this physical effort am I carrying with me during the day? In your teeth, in your jaw, in your breath, in the grasping, both physical of your hands and feet, but also emotional or in your thoughts. And how much is it costing you to try that hard? The real cost. The cost in the disappointment, in the frustration when things don't work, or if you're not feeling good as you're doing it, or maybe actual pain. And now create this intention for yourself as we come to the end of the session, that you're going to give yourself the grace to reduce the effort somewhere. Not every time, not everywhere, not in all places at once, but just somewhere. And give yourself a clear invitation, a clear commitment. It could be noticing the extra effort on your teeth for the rest of the day. It could be noticing the extra effort in your relation to abundance or awakening or awareness or getting things right or being a good girl or a good boy or a good father or not being the worst. Okay? Just one tiny place. And of course, if you're more advanced at this and you've done this before, you work with me before, we've already done this, so where else? Take on a bigger challenge for yourself, like the whole week or 2 or 3 areas at the same time. With one caveat, you're going to notice a big benefit. You're going to feel better because there's going to be much more energy freed up that you were using in all this effort. And you're going to feel lazy and you're going to feel unproductive sometimes because you're used to the effort. So that's when you gonna have the presence to say, I'm working with finding the right amount of effort, and I'm not beating myself up if I come out short, if I forgot to do it, or if this is too little effort and I'm not doing enough, right? Just as you were guiding a friend or a child or someone you love, you guide yourself back over and over again to this knowing of, I know how much is enough. I just didn't know I was doing so much. Okay? Great, Angela. That's really, really good awareness. There's a fly here. That's really good that you can notice, because most of us hold a lot of tension in the upper body. That's why we did a lot of things with the upper body recently, and I recommend you go to the website and look them up. Upper triangle, upper body, we were working with that recently. And all the triangle movements can help you free that up. But even before you do something to free that up is to notice what is creating the effort, right? What is creating the contraction? What am I bracing myself against? I was recently talking in my newsletter, which you can sign up for on my website too. I was talking about we are living a constant state of vigilance. There's so many things going on in the world that are scary or worrisome for some, that we're always just waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? Where is it going to hit me next? And that creates a state of permanent contraction. Yeah. So if you can notice that and say, wow, look at how I think I'm going to be safe, and take it as an invitation to maintain the effort that is needed. It could be an internal effort of remaining alert, remaining aware, not putting your head in the sand, but not a necessary effort of holding against a possible danger that is about to come, right? So that's, again, a middle way between adequate and unnecessary effort. Is somewhere in between. And when you put yourself in relation to, in this case, awareness, and you notice, oh my, if I open myself, if I get myself expanded and have less expectations, I notice a lot more, right? That is the same thing, but a little more intangible, is the movement of your awareness from being tunnel vision. I need to get it, I need to get it, I need to get it. Why am I not enlightened, right? Why am I not more compassionate? Why can I not lose my temper? Why, right? To be more peripheric vision. So instead of tunnel vision, open vision. And your awareness naturally expands. Example of that in the physical body. Close your eyes and think about your back, your shoulder blades and your spine, and the space behind your back. And imagine now a gentle hand, gentle, friendly hand, coming and placing themselves on your back, and gently making connection, and then gently feeling that warmth on your back, and then gently moving away. And you move away the hand, the imaginary hand, but you continue feeling the connection on your back. More and more the hand goes away, but you're maintaining awareness of that hand, the possibility of that hand and the space behind you. And now open your eyes again and observe how much more aware of the space behind your back you are. And if you could even picture the space behind your head and your upper back and your lower back as if the hand was there. And all we did was a shift of awareness. We are so forward and front oriented that we rarely think of our back. But it took us about a minute, you see? So instead of narrow vision into, oh, I want to get this concept, open, expanded vision into what else is possible. Maybe something I haven't considered. Let's see. Lynn says, I already feel more energized, motivated to do something. That's amazing. Yes. Yeah, that will be the number one thing you will notice is as you reduce effort, you will have more energy. You will have better sleep. You will have more efficiency, fluidity, smoothness of your own movement and your experience of the movement. Lisa says there was a huge difference when I tensed up. I became very uncomfortable and felt stuck. I look forward to becoming aware of what my body is doing throughout the day. Amazing. Thank you so much. Yes, that feeling of stuck is such a good clue because your own body is telling you something there, right? When you feel stuck, you're not in flow, which is what we did last week together. And when you feel stuck, sometimes it's an excessive amount of trying so hard that is not giving you results. So you feel like you're like in sand. What is the word? Like quicksand, right? You're like, stuck, low energy. I can't move out of here. And sometimes all it takes is just noticing, where can I let go of this extra effort and move and move and move and move and move and move in all directions until what was stuck unstucks. Especially circular movements will take you there. Circular movements, Angela, of the shoulders, circular movements of your pelvis, of your jaw, will get you unstuck like that. Many have told me I try too hard. This information and the exercise you've shared are liberating. Oh, thank you, Noni. We all do, honey, and this is why it's okay. It's not to feel bad or guilty. We all try so hard. It's ingrained. That's why I talked about it for so long at the beginning, and why and how does it begin, and we are rewarded for trying so hard. So why wouldn't you? Now, as we begin to find more and more connection to ourselves, liberating ourselves from all the extra weight, all the extra pressure, all the extra effort, all the extra striving, and more energy gets freed up, we get to use that energy. This is where I think Feldenkrais would be if he was alive today, right? He died in 84. Think about that. Before the actual neuroplasticity that he was using in the 40s was actually discovered by science and shown in the brain, right? You can see today, if you look it up, go look up a little video of how the two neurons that had nothing to do with one another, they find each other, they fire together, they wire together, and they group. They group with nearby neurons. They form these maps. He knew that, and he didn't see the brain. Okay, so if he had seen the brain, and if he had seen all the discoveries in quantum physics, I believe that today he would be working with that, right? He would be working with Chopra and the quantum body. He would be working with Joe Dispenza and coherence, remote healings, okay? Aligning mind and heart. So that's really what I'm after. That's what I do. And that's what you're beginning to experience here, is how all this energy gets freed up. Lynn having energy and motivation to do something. Something was using that energy. It's like a computer that has too many tabs open and then it runs out of battery. So during the day, notice where is the effort. It could be on your physical body, jaw, hands, eyes, breath, shoulders, forehead, neck, feet, groin. It just goes anywhere, everywhere. That's why it's called parasitic, right? It's like a little looking for where can I latch onto, feed off this person, my own efforts, right? My own tension. And then give it an invitation, invite it. Don't force it, don't correct it, don't push it. Just invite it to find a better calibration. Not even let go, but just find how calibrating the effort, reducing it, increasing it, depending to what's needed. And with the energy that is free, until we keep working and we work with more and more with the energy, which we will, with the energy that is free, place your intention in using it for something. We're going to use it together. But for now, until we get there, just place your intention and say, I want now with this free energy to sleep better. Oh, chess, Gary, thank you so much. That's wonderful. Yeah, especially for men, right? For women, a little bit up here, but for men especially, I can imagine your chest holds a lot of tension. Yeah. So I recommend, especially if that's your challenge, to go to my website, which you can find on my teacher's page. And we did a session on self-love, which you may not think the theme is related, but we worked a lot with the ribs and a lot with holding ourselves and the shoulders, and that releases a lot of tension on the chest. And then what you get out of that, and that was maybe 20-minute movement lesson, what you get out of that is you feel, for some, maybe for the first time or for once in a while, what a free chest feels like. Liberated, free, uninhibited, effortless, easier and easier, getting better and better and better each day. Every time you do it, it's easier to maintain that awareness without grabbing onto the extra effort again. Does it make sense? Do you guys have any questions before I go? Christine says, too much to ride with dislocating shoulders and walking with crutches. I put a lot of effort just staying upright. Yeah, I get it. I work with a lot of people with canes, and it does take a lot of effort also to just hold yourself upright. But Christine, the more you can use your legs and your feet, yeah, some of that effort is taken by your legs and not only your shoulders. Okay? There's some readjustment that can take place there, I'm sure. There's always room for improvement, always room for less effort and more awareness, more grounding and less holding against gravity, which is what happens sometimes when we're not using it, the skeleton. So any questions, you guys? Jaw, yeah, Again, there's a nice lesson in my website called Jaw and Pelvis. These are all Feldenkrais lessons. Some of them are 40 minutes long. It's the traditional format of the work. Is you lie down and you go into your body for about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. And it really does a lot of brain rewiring that we cannot always do here, because I would lose a lot of people's attention, because you couldn't start in the middle or just do a little bit. You have to do the whole thing. That's why I have those on my website. I'll start asking myself, where am I clenching? And allow recalibration. I love that. Yeah. And again, because we work with the self-image, you can expand your image of yourself as somebody that is noticing effort and reducing it, and not, oh, I have TMJ. Boom. That is a frozen self-image. Now that's you. So I'm not taking away that you have a condition or a diagnosis. I'm saying, and of course I'm not a doctor, so my advice is from experience as a Feldenkrais practitioner, but I'm not saying you don't have this or you don't have that. I'm saying you can see yourself as expanding out of that condition with more awareness, and some things may change. Okay? Any questions? If you have a donation, that would be amazing. This is a great time. If you haven't followed my page, please do. I'm looking to expand my reach, and that's always wonderful. Also, when you follow the page, you get a ping when the next live is booked, so you know always where I'm coming up. Yes, exactly. Expand self, to noticing and place less effort. Yeah, that's the gist of it. Thank you for the summary. Yes, entirely says, thank you, DM, for the notes and for the summary. And thank you, Angela, for your donation. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. I really needed to hear all of this. Thank you. I have been feeling so stressed out. Lots of left side neck pain. Oh, sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. Yeah. Yeah, there's some materials on the resources section on my website that can help with shoulder neck pain. But again, some of this is emotional, like you're saying, coming from feeling unsafe. So we keep unfolding, right? We keep on experiencing what is the root cause of this and how can I find more alignment. This is my favorite thing to do, actually. The body sometimes is the messenger and it's showing us signs and symptoms that are reflecting something else. And sometimes working with the body is really efficient, and you work at a symptom, you get the relief, boom, done. But more times than not, you can work at a symptom all you want for years and years, and unless you're addressing what is connected to it, you won't be able to really let that go or change it or make it less impactful in your life. Maybe that won't change, maybe the diagnosis will remain, but it doesn't take a toll on your life in the same way. You know, it kind of like when you have a garden and you see these weeds coming up and eventually you say, you know what, I'm just gonna do the work and dig a hole and pull the taproot. And you never know, there might be more roots underneath, but you're doing your best to look for that taproot. And it's usually some type of work that you don't want to do alone. So find a qualified person to help you. Could be a therapist, could be a friend, could be a colleague, or someone that understands that when you're getting, the closer you're getting to unblocking, really that those roots, the more frightening it becomes, because the possibility of that freedom is something that we don't know. So it's almost terrifying. Let's say somebody comes to me and they had this pain for a decade, which, believe it or not, people assume, and they live with their pain as if it's part of life and they have no possibility there of change. And it's part of our identity so much that when you take it away, it's almost like, who am I without it? I've defined myself so much around it that if I'm not in pain, then I get to do all these things and I don't even know how to do them anymore. And sadly, that's the cost for some people. I'm not saying it's anyone's here, but I'm saying I see this in my private practice, that the first thing we have to rewire is that image of ourselves as a free, unlimited being with perfect health, no matter the conditions. And Feldenkrais, just to wrap this up, Feldenkrais was really clear about this. He said a cripple can move better than a lot of you guys here in this room, he said to his trainees. Because if the person is born with certain conditions, let's say one leg is higher than the other, or the ribs are twisted, or whatever it is, to the point that you accept that and work with that and learn to move and love your body and experience it in all its freedom, you can be moving better than a person that has perfect body but hates it or doesn't know how to embody that perfect body, and is always looking for what's wrong, right? So there's a lot there, and we'll continue exploring that together. I invite you for our next session. That will be next Saturday at 11 a.m. Let me just double check the time here. I think it's 11. Yep. And I call this session Harmony of Body and Mind, and we're going to explore the concept of coherence. We're going to explore what does it do to the body when we can create an alpha state with our brain. A lot of this work is about resetting the nervous system past the point of like, I need to get out of pain, Once we're not in crazy pain, which hopefully is most of us, we find a way to recalibrate, we find a way to find alignment, freedom of movement, so we're not in pain, because pain is like somebody's beating your head with a hammer, right? And it's distracting and it's very noisy. Once you can move out of pain, which is sometimes the first thing we do, as we're looking for that root cause, it's very helpful to regulate our nervous system so we're not in fight or flight. And that brings coherence between the body and the heart, between the brain and the heart. And that's what we're going to explore next week. We're going to look for ways, we're going to use movement, we're going to use breath work, we're going to use imagery, imagination, to bring our brain waves to an alpha state. You're going to be reclined or lying down, and we're going to notice what that does to the body. And most likely you're going to feel energized once you come out of that. And with, again, all that free energy, we're building more and more ways to access more and more free energy, so we have it available to do whatever we want. Okay? That's the invitation. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your participation, your comments, your donations, your beautiful presence. I feel you. I love you. And know that you are seen, you are heard, appreciated, and loved, okay? By me and many other people here and in your life, I'm sure. Thank you so much. I estimate these sessions to go between an hour and an hour and a half, just so you know, for next time. And look for more of it in my website, okay? All right, dear ones, big hug for you. Thank you to everyone that contributed today in every way, and that you opened your heart to receive this. Thank you for that. Hugs. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lynn. I'm going to thank everybody that chatted, okay? As far as I can go. Lynn, Noni, Angela, DM. Thank you for your donation, Angela. Tara Lee, Christine, Andrea, Gary, and Lisa, and Deanna. Deanna, is that you? Get back to me. And Claudia, Katuria, April, Kieran. Oh, so many beautiful people. Harmony. Oh, love you guys. Who else was there? I can't go any higher in my chat here. You are the best. You make my heart sing. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.